On today's episode, Kyle's giving us his reactions to The Nun, Operation Finale, and Searching. There's conflicting reports on whether or not Henry Cavill will be returning as Superman, and the Star is Born producer John Peters may not get credit for the movie. Let's get started.
This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome, everyone, to Off the Break Podcast. I'm your host, Cody. I'm back.
Woohoo!
Manning the ship. Not in troubled waters anymore.
No, we never thought you were.
With me is Kyle and Eric.
What's up?
Hi.
So, guys,
Yes.
it's been a few days. I got to check in with you, too.
You missed out.
Yeah, I missed out last week. So, how's it going?
Good. No complaints over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's peachy with us. We were able
Sunshine and daisies.
we were able to break down that popular films decision that the Oscars did. They decided to pull that back, so we got into a lengthy discussion. But that was probably the most exciting part of the week, I would say.
It's been pretty slow news week after week.
Yeah, we're in that part of
It's like
the
one
year.
or two stories, and then once you get those out of the way, then it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah, now what's going on?
Well, you, Kyle, saw some
You've been
movies.
living at the movie theater.
Yeah, cool. They're really starting to recognize me a lot more there.
I bet. You're like your usual, Mr. Brester.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we know what movie you want to see.
They'll probably just say whatever the newest one is.
Yeah, just
But
be like that one.
Yeah, you saw The Nun, Operation Finale, and Searching.
Yep, saw those these last couple of days. Whichever one you guys want to hear about first. Like,
Give it to us from worst to best.
Worst to
Worst
best?
to
All right,
best.
then unfortunately I would have to start with The Nun.
Oh, surprise,
Really,
surprise.
The Nun was
The
worse.
Nun, yes, The Nun was
Okay.
the worst one. And
It made the most money.
it did make the most money, which was good for
Surely
the franchise.
that means it's the best, right?
No. It was very disappointing. I mean, when it comes to the scares that it tries to do, it's not creative like how The Conjuring was, and I'm basing it off of The Conjuring because that's part of that same franchise.
Yeah,
of
it's
course,
a
like
part of
this is a
that
prequel,
Universe.
right? And instead of it being creative and just more out of the box with how to scare its audience, instead it goes with these tropes that are tiresome and just really lame after many years of watching. Now, that being said, me and a couple of other people still got scared by these tropes, and I think there are some audience members that will like them even still. But if I'm able to predict these scares happening, and this is coming from a guy who's like really bad with horror movies, then I think that's a bad sign. So
Did the main person close a medicine cabinet and the nun was behind her? Did that scare you?
Did she look in a mirror?
yes, and she did look in a mirror. Like I said, I knew they were coming, and they still scared me. But I can predict these tropes. I can predict.
Well, yeah,
when
once you
they're
see them
gonna
5,000
happen.
times,
Yeah.
they're always telegraphed.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, that's tiresome and that's lame. And when you and its story wasn't even that creative either. Like, once you take away all the horror elements of this movie, like, it's really a really boring story.
I know.
Like, there was nothing exciting or nothing
Yeah.
interesting that made me want to explore the Conjuring universe even more than or even this part of the universe that I really wanted to know more about.
Right, we talked about that earlier. I asked you, I'm like, okay, this young nun.
Right.
What happens to her? Like, is she does the events that happen to her somehow, like, link to future events? Do they create an offshoot of events? And you're like, no.
She just kind of gets startled.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
an
What
hour
was
and a
the
half.
point of her character? Should we get invested in her?
not very much of a point to it. Basically, these spin-off movies are trying to tell stories about these, about the couple that went on all these ghost adventures, I guess you can call them. But really,
Aren't they
like,
paranormal investigators?
yeah, that's a good way of saying it. That's a much more professional term, probably.
Ghost hunters.
Yeah. But really, it doesn't. You just don't care with this one. Like, there's nothing other than let's go see a scary movie that really makes you invested at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, that's kind of the... I'm horrible about judging movies based on their trailers, but I feel like I'm usually pretty right.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the vibe I got from the trailer. because nothing about it looked like anything other than just another. Was it PG-13 or was it R?
It's
Yeah.
R. No,
It's
it's R.
It was.
I would have
Okay.
thought it was PG-13.
I thought I was in a PG-13 movie
No,
too.
I mean,
to
to me, it just looked like that. Those horror movies that are easy to put together because they always make money.
Yeah.
You know, all of the tropes, like you said, are already made. All you
Yeah.
have to do is pick and choose which ones you want. So yeah, I never really expected it to, reach the level like Annabelle Creation. That was a welcome surprise. A lot of people really liked that one.
Yeah, and Annabelle Creation still isn't what like The Conjuring is.
No.
The Conjuring I think is just one of many horror movies that really like elevate the standards for the horror films, and The Nun
there's a lot of,
doesn't.
There's
Like,
a lot. There's a
nothing
lot
to
of
it.
interesting like world building and like the history behind kind of what they're investigating.
Right.
There's a lot more to it than just the scares themselves.
Yeah, but they focus on the scares themselves and not the world building.
Yeah, and then this one, I looked at it, I'm like, that looks kind of just like a hollow shell of, what these Conjuring movies can be.
Right, correct.
I kind of was interested when it first played up the fact that this is within a Conjuring universe and I think I've been so pre-programmed from Marvel universe building that I'm like, okay, what's the link? Like that's what the first thing I wanted to know.
Yeah,
like how does it link back to the present day? And if there's no real link other than that this demonic character is still a demonic character in the present, I'm like, that's just a bit
Evil never dies. It's lived on.
underwhelming for
Yeah.
me. I'm
And
a little disappointed.
And I think that's fair of a comparison to say because we are so used to this now. Like we are always wondering, like, how is it connected?
Like it would be cool if you found out that they could have stopped this demonic nun from being in the future, but they failed, and then dun dun dun, we get her later. At least something with the story.
I mean, it's possible that they could try to. We'll just have to wait and see on what they decide to do with that. But I personally don't feel like it's that big of a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think I've been so conditioned for wanting those links now.
Yeah, of course.
We talked about this with the
Links are overrated.
the DC universe. Eric hates them, but I love
I hate
links.
them, but they've become way too important to people. Like, I mean,
They
like,
are.
obviously, like they are too. It's like
They're very
no,
important
the
to
link
me.
shouldn't be what you care about. Care if the movie even works.
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like the links for me work because this makes the story better. It makes the story bigger than it is.
No, that's fair.
I
That's
like
fair.
it for the story-based stuff. Like, I'm not a person that's gonna go to a horror movie and be like, "Yay, scared time!" I
There
hate
better be
that.
a better reason why
Yeah.
I'm here.
I better see the beginning of like the foundation for future events, or I'm not interested at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with that for sure. But I don't know. Even with the connectivity that they do, like you just end up not caring.
I'm just interested to see going forward once, these different universes, because I'm sure more universes will pop up going forward. I wonder how much they're going to differ, because I feel like right now the MCU is the go-to idea of what people have when they think of connected universes.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the way that those work and connect to each other. But I can't imagine that every universe going forward is going to be able to do that, let alone would want to. So I'm curious to see how these different universes find their own ways of actually bringing everything together.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I
just
think
thought that was interesting.
Universal could have done that with their horror characters, because the characters didn't have to be at the same time or ever interact with each other. They could have just been this idea that they're all these like fables in time
Yeah.
that are brought to the
Well,
big
that's what I'm
screen.
saying. Like, if theoretically, if that universe worked out, you could have an Invisible Man movie, then you could have a werewolf
And
movie,
they're
a
not connected,
Frankenstein's
yeah.
monster movie, and then
Maybe the only connection
you don't
is
need an explicit scene where like the mummy goes to sleep, but then is dug up in an after credit scene by the guy is cast to play the Invisible Man or something.
Right.
Like,
no,
Oh,
but
that's
maybe
a good
the
idea.
maybe the connection could just literally be like they're all were written about by one person. Like Like
see,
the monster book.
There's so many
That's
different
a
ways
good
to go
idea,
about
too.
connecting these universes that I feel like studios need to start thinking outside the box, thinking out of ways that are different than the Marvel. Like, tease it at the end of the credits.
Right, I think
Literally
that's
have
where-
the next character talk to this character.
Yeah, that's where Universal failed, as they tried to make them connected in like real world present day, and that's just not gonna. That's so silly. That's just not gonna happen. So, yeah. But I'm so conditioned to want a connection.
Gotta break it.
I just, even if it was fleeting, I just need some. I like knowing that events and issues that happen in the story have ramifications.
No, that's totally fair.
I like that. But it sounded like in None, there was none. There was none of that. It could have just not, been a movie at all and had no change. Offers no insight into
was anything in the movie. Could the movie work the exact same way it did if it wasn't in the Conjuring universe?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like, all they need to do was take out 2 small scenes and it would be its own thing.
That's kind of what I thought.
And the 2 small things just remind you of what universe it's in. Like, it's not really much of a connective
they're probably
tissue.
not even that purposeful, other than wink, wink.
Honestly, they take you out of the movie.
This is the Conjuring universe.
They take you out of it.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, yeah. Anyway, those were my thoughts on The Nun.
Okay, worst movie. What was the middle ground movie for you?
That would be Operation Finale. I would call this movie like good but not great. Like, it had the potential to be great, but it just missed the mark on that. It was a well-told story. It's a story of these true events of the Israeli Secret Service tracking down like the last remaining general of the Nazi party. The general was named Adolf Eichmann, and it's a story about how those events happened. Well, actually, it's more like those events took a backseat on how it happened, and instead focuses more on the relationship between Eichmann and one of the lead men in charge of the mission, who was played by Oscar Isaac. So pretty much it's just about how Oscar Isaac and Ben Kingsley come at each other with their different backgrounds, their different viewpoints, and it's just a lot about them going back and forth. And at times these scenes between them work to where you're invested in not just Oscar Isaac's side, but also Ben Kingsley's side, which you feel gross about, but at the same time you're like, I'm actually really into this.
Yeah.
But then at other times, like, it just doesn't quite, it just falls flat to make you have this roller coaster where you're like, I'm invested, now I'm not, now I am, now I'm not. And that's one of the problems that this movie had. Another problem is also that, like I said, the story about all the events really takes a backseat, along with the members of the crew take a backseat as well. Like, you wish you got a little bit more about them, but they just didn't. They just almost became an afterthought after a while. So it's a well-told story, and it really dives into it tries to dive into these 2 different viewpoints, but at the end of it all, it's good, not great. But
was it slow? It sounds slow.
Yeah, I would say it's a slow-paced film, and that's what it was supposed to be, so I don't fault it for the pacing at all.
Yeah, I figured it was like a movie that's kind of focused on how a human being can justify doing the things that Eichmann did.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's
probably like Oscar Isaac's character just... I'm trying to think of... I can't remember the name. There's an older movie that kind of has the same approach where really it's just like an investigation. Like how... What kind of mental gymnastics are you doing? How can you be capable of this?
Right.
But then you get the flip side, and yeah, like you said, I've actually read a lot of reactions too where it's really uncomfortable how at times natural it is to like sympathize with somebody like that.
And those parts work. Like, there's not many, but they do work.
Like,
and I think that's what makes this a good movie.
I feel like those are powerful themes to get at. But you probably, at the same time, it's probably easy to get bogged down in that, in the kind of back and forth dialogues.
Yeah, people shouldn't go into this movie, if I believe it's still out. If they want to go into this movie, don't expect that heist film. Don't expect it being fast paced, because the trailer almost sells it on that being it as that, but really it's more of a character piece, and it's gonna be slow. Like, not terribly slow to where you're bored, but just slow because of all the dialogue that's happening.
It's probably just... I mean, when I saw the trailer and the marketing, it kind of reminded me... Do you ever see that movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise?
Oh, no, I don't think I have.
It's kind of, a World War II movie where they're trying to assassinate Hitler. It's this covert operation. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives you the idea that there's going to be, like you said, like a heist sort of structure. Like, there's the setup, the case, finding the crew.
Thriller.
Getting the crew together, doing the mission, But it sounds like that's not really the case at all.
Right.
Good to know.
I'm just disappointed no one shoots somebody's face off with a machine gun.
Well, I never said
like
that.
in Inglourious Bastards. I feel like they should all end that
Why
way.
is it not like a Quentin Tarantino film
Yeah.
The
with
most
no
beautifully
Quentin
historically
Tarantino?
accurate scene
Right.
ever.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I think that's ruined me now for Nazi World War II
Hitler
films.
doesn't get his face shut off.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
see
then-
it. But
Right.
Then it's a hard pass.
Then-
Yeah.
Too boring for me.
yeah, that's fair. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea for sure.
Great. So, searching.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
You're
happy to
obvious-
hear your take on that.
Yeah, your obviously best film that you saw.
It might be one of my favorites of the year.
So
For
you were
sure.
saying.
Well, I saw the trailer for it. I came into it being like, I hear good things, but I want to see this for myself. I'm not quite sure how this will work for me, just because it's a web-based movie. Like it's seen on cameras. The story's being told through social media, through phone calls, through Skype calls between people. So it can be hard to do. Like that type of genre that people are trying to go for lately is really difficult to do. So I wasn't sure how this would work out, and it blew me away. Like it blew me away just because it felt realistic with how John Cho, who plays David Kim, who's trying to find his missing daughter, it plays to a father doing everything that he can through basically the internet and our everyday technological lives to find his daughter, and to such realistic expectations that you're just like, I feel for this character, I'm rooting for this character, I want to know what happens. And you want to know what happens in this story, but also because of all the visuals that you have flashing at you, you're able to follow this mystery, which makes it a lot more fun and not just a movie that has you on the edge of your seat.
That sounds really, what you said about it just being realistic. When you think about it, all of these technology, everybody uses these things every single day. So when you think about it, you have a near infinite number of resources at your disposal to try and find this person. But does that really make how much easier does that actually make it?
Yeah, the resources that he uses are not only realistic in how he uses them, but also they're names that we recognize. Like they use actual Facebook, they use actual Instagram,
it's not like
Twitter. They're
some
not using like
awkward-
Friendbook. Or,
that totally takes you out of
Yeah,
it.
they actually took their time and they used their money to be able to be like, look, we want to use these names. We need this as real life as possible.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's hard, at least for me, sometimes when I see movies do that, with the actual brands or companies or whatever. It's always like in those other web-based movies that we were talking about, like Unfriended, Dark Web, and things like that. They kind of, I don't know, they come across as gimmicky, like, whoa, social media is so evil. But this one, I'm seeing it tonight, so I'm really excited. But it sounds like it's just a really objective look at how all of these different things can be used.
Yeah, it's an objective look on how they're used, and also the reactions that an event like this can cause through social media. Like there's many times through the movie where you'll see how other people act looking at David Kim's situation, and you'll be like, that's exactly how people react in today's world.
Yeah.
And I think that part of it was it's not overloaded, it's in small doses, but you'll see them and you'll be like, that's exactly what would happen. So John Cho stole this movie for me completely. He's so underrated, and I think this is best performance, like hands down.
That's awesome.
He really made this movie able to work so well because you're able to latch on and relate to him. Like I didn't see John Cho, I saw a father looking for his daughter.
It sounds like based on just how realistic everything is and how easily like sympathetic it is. Maybe that's the wrong word, but almost like it's like your daughter that's going missing.
Right,
You're just kind of like, you truly are absolutely in his headspace.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have kids at all, but even I was just like, man, if that was me, he made me feel like if that was me in that position, I would be doing everything almost exactly like he would. And and that's because of it being such a well-told story, but also because of his performance. Like I think I'm gonna remember this performance for a while. Like I thought it was that good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just mad you won't tell me what happens in it.
I mean, I don't want to tell you.
You could always
I
go
hope
see
you do
it.
see it.
What? No, I'm not seeing that. A child missing?
I
No,
gave you
no.
a great review.
Do
This
you-
is the
okay, I
best
have a
of the bunch.
Question. Do you feel betrayed when you find out John Cho's evil in the end?
Oh, you know.
Yes? No?
Sure.
You felt betrayed.
No,
That's affirmative.
you can believe whatever you want to. I'm not giving that away.
I'm
Make
going
up whatever
with
ending
yes.
you want in your head, Cody. That's exactly how the movie
Just have your
actually
movie
ends.
be
Yeah.
how you want your movie to be.
Okay.
That's some words of wisdom I'll give you. Now,
Darn.
searching for sure. People need to check this one out. It needs to get more. It needs to get. I almost said get more views. It needs to get. It needs to get more attention.
More butts and seats.
I guess
Yeah.
views is technically right. It's just
Well, for that kind of type of movie, yeah, I guess views.
the
Yeah.
technology that the movie's getting at. It's changing our very vocabulary.
Right.
Well,
yeah. So those were
nice.
the
One
three.
sounds like one
Good
great movie,
movies.
one so-so, and one not so great.
Yeah, it was a great spectrum of
Yeah.
movies over
It's
the last
just-
couple of days.
It's just funny that the not so great one made the most money.
Yeah. Well,
It's
people
weird
want
how
to see
that
the big horror
happens.
I
movie.
feel like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
True. You've seen the Transformers films? Ugh, those are bummers.
Oh, well, wait. Bumblebee might turn it around.
Might. We'll see.
Yeah,
Bumblebee might do
I've
it.
gotten way more cynical in that movie.
I don't blame you.
Its trailer is so tailor-made to be like, well, actually, this one doesn't look that bad.
I know.
It's like that's exactly what they're trying
I
to
know.
do.
And I'm a sucker with trailers all the time. So that one, of course, I'm just like, yeah, maybe.
as long as we can get them to think, this might be better than the fifth one.
If it worked on me, then it'll work on a lot of people.
Anywho, moving on.
Yes.
Henry Cavill. That was a shocker this morning, but yeah, apparently he's no longer Superman.
That
Yeah.
got me awake this morning. I was tired,
I
and
think
then
it
I
got-
said that, and I saw
right.
that article on.
I think it got the studio awake too. They're like, "Uh-oh, what have we done?"
I mean, yeah, of all stories, I didn't even think this was like a gestating thing because I know.
Oh, I think it was there was some hints of it
Was
a
there?
while ago.
I guess I've just been so focused on the Ben Affleck not coming back, maybe coming back, probably not coming back.
he's
That
been negotiating this contract for a while.
Really?
Now, yeah.
Well, because I'm
As he
I was
should.
trying to brush up on it, and it didn't his original contract have him for like 4 movies?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
4 movies.
he was
he
supposed
hasn't
to.
been in 4, has he? There was
3.
Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League.
Yeah. He was supposed to have another.
Was
Man
the
of
cameo
Steel.
in Shazam going to count as like
I
his
think
4th
that,
movie?
No,
I think at the time when they made the contract, that
Right.
wasn't the case, but
right. I think
Okay.
they were looking to expand, maybe to do some more cameo spots, and he obviously probably wanted to get paid because since he first did his contract, he's been in like Mission Impossible
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and gone on to do some other things.
Now he signed on for The Witcher.
I believe the new contract that was being negotiated was that he wanted more money, obviously, but he wanted a 4-movie deal or a 4-role deal, and
He wanted
then he
producer
also
credit,
wanted
too.
producing credit as well.
And I'm sure the studio just balked. Like, it was one thing to maybe pay him more up front while he earns it now,
Yeah.
but
They're
You
also
know-
trying to scale back the budget of their film, so they're probably
Yeah.
just like,
That
we
makes
can't give
sense.
you that money because we only have
Right.
X amount saved up
And I
for
mean,
it.
all 3 of his DC movies haven't really been the most well-received movies
Right.
either. So
although I
along with
don't
their-
feel like
sorry.
that's his fault. I don't feel
it's
like
not,
Oh,
but I mean,
no.
they're going to
Yeah.
look at that and they're
No,
going
he's
to,
terrific.
you know.
I think he's great for what he's given or has been
Right.
given at
Oh,
being
yeah.
Superman.
Mhm.
Like,
I
honestly,
I
ever
totally stand by that.
I fell in love with Henry Cavill like back when Man of Steel got released.
Everything
I
taken
still
into
adore
account,
that
you know,
movie.
like the questionable creative decisions that Zack Snyder made,
that the
and,
studio has made.
you know, everything. At the end of the day, he's the actor and he's reading the words in the script and doing the best he can with what he has. I think he did
really
a good job.
though, he's had to deal with a lot of stuff, a
Yeah.
lot of controversy, and he's dealt with it well. Like, you can tell that he really loved playing Superman, but if they're not
Right.
giving him what he probably while he does deserve it, then
I don't know. Does he
probably needs to
deserve
step away.
producing credit? I mean, I feel like that
I mean,
might
producing
be
credit.
outside his wheelhouse.
Producing credit
really.
could mean anything.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to be
That could
necessarily
be
a big
back
hands-on
end.
role.
He
Probably
probably
just more
wanted
money.
back end money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's confusing, but the whole thing was it went back. It pulled like a full 360 in the span of like an hour or something.
Right, because I think
'Cause,
the studio
yeah,
wasn't prepared
Hollywood
for the
Reporter
backlash.
broke the story. They said Henry Cavill is no longer Superman,
Mm-hmm.
and then a little bit later, his agent
Yeah,
or
Danny
somebody,
Garcia.
yeah, Danny Garcia tweeted out, and she's like, "Whoa, no, his quote, the cape is still in his closet." End
Probably
quote, something
because
like that.
technically
I have
he's
the
still
quote.
under contract.
Yeah, you have the quote right there.
Yeah, from her from her Twitter account, she says, "Be peaceful. The cape is still in his closet. Warner Bros. Has been and continues to be our partners as they evolve the DC universe. Anticipate a WB statement later today," which they did, and I have that too.
Yeah, which doesn't really say anything.
Right. What they said is, while no decision has been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had great respect and a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged. So, yes,
Cool.
they don't... That's great,
The
but
first thing I thought when
Superman.
they said this, it made me think of the whole drama with Disney or Lucasfilm putting all of the Star Wars stories spin-offs on hold, and then Disney's like, no, we're not. I feel like it's one of those things where, there's no official plans for a Superman movie, but he hasn't formally been let go. So they're probably just using that and trying to, know.
Technically, he's still under contract.
Technically, we
in
haven't
reality,
fired him.
he's not going to be Superman again.
In theory, he could come back, but we're not working on any Superman movies for a while, and we're going to be putting all our focus on a Supergirl movie.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, they also want to switch to these not small characters, but these other characters that people don't know as well. Superman, Aquaman, Flash. The Supergirl thing is a weird choice to me. I just don't know about her popularity. Like, she has a TV show, but how far does that go?
We talked about this, too. I don't like it at all. I don't like Supergirl. I don't like Batgirl. I just feel like I want strong female characters that are female and a character in their own right. Like Wonder Woman. She's always been there. But Batgirl and Supergirl just feel like, oh, maybe what if Batman was a girl? And then they created this character, and it's just
Q fan turmoil.
And I just feel like,
it's like, no, they're totally different.
No, but to me, as a casual observer and moviegoer, and not having these characters part of my fandom, I'm just not interested at all, and I really want to see female.
That's actually good. Yeah, I'm glad you made that point. Like, there's people like me that deep down are like, these girl characters are cool, but to you, you're not totally. You haven't grown up with them. You haven't really seen just based on the name and just based on what you're just like, I don't think I'm that interested. So that is a good point, though. Like, despite there being a core audience, there is a general audience as well that doesn't latch on.
To be fair, though, I mean, if they do make it and it is great,
cool. They did, but
totally.
I wonder.
A lot of times people don't know what they want, or they even may think
true.
they don't want something.
I mean, it's like the Joker movie for me. Do I want it? No. Could it be great? Yeah. Will I be happy if it is? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like you're.
Why wouldn't you be?
But it's not like they're making like girl Joker. That's why I'm so not
I get
interested
what you're
at
saying.
all.
I get what you're saying.
They do want that Harley Quinn movie, maybe, still.
Yeah,
Girl Joker, quote unquote. I don't know.
I'm just wondering what the motivation is, though, because
for a Supergirl movie?
Yeah, because like you said, there's the Supergirl show. I don't really know anything about it other than Melissa Benoist is Supergirl, but I highly doubt she would be reprising that role in a movie.
No, they keep those pretty separate.
Yeah. So, I just don't see a Supergirl movie being as popular as the Superman movies. People generally like Henry Cavill as Superman, but a whole new person and a new character that a lot of people aren't super familiar with that will probably just see it as, why did they make Superman a girl?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just wondering the motivation behind it.
I mean, the motivation honestly could be because of all the changes that they want to make. They want to go in a different direction, not only show these other big A-list characters that they have, but also do other smaller movies like the Joker movie, and maybe Supergirl will be a part of it being a smaller film in some regard. I don't know. That's the only thing in my head that I can come up with.
I guess now that I think about it, since we already know they do want to rein in the budgets on their movies, kind of start focusing on these less iconic characters, maybe that's sort of like a insurance. So like if the movie doesn't do super well,
at least
they're not going to get torn apart because people aren't really that familiar with the character.
Yeah, that could be.
I mean, like Marvel started out with the smaller people.
I mean, besides Spider-Man, they were all pretty small, like in terms of like comic books in general.
Yeah, I mean, like the MCU though, like it starts with Iron Man, who at the time,
a character no one knows.
He's like a B hero, which is weird because I knew who Iron Man was, but
yeah, it just matters on how.
I think DC, they're trying to, get rid of Ben Affleck's Batman, get rid of Henry Cavill's Superman, just focus on these smaller characters that they can afford to be a little make bigger risks with.
I think if they're gonna do that, though, then I want like super obscure, unique character. Like in Wonder Woman, they're having that cheetah be the villain. I'm like, ooh, who is she now? Like that seems kind of a crazy character, and I feel like Supergirl or Batgirl are just not unique at all.
Isn't Batgirl paralyzed?
She
She was like shot in the spine.
Doesn't she get paralyzed in The Killing Joke?
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's versions
so
where like they retcon it. There's versions where she still is. It's comic books. Am I right?
Yeah.
This does make me wonder though. How long will it be before Ben Affleck follows suit and finally is
officially?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that this is gonna happen pretty soon.
I feel so out of the loop ever since you told me that Ben Affleck's been having kind of a rough time lately.
Yes.
I was going through and watching these paparazzi videos of him just trying to order a burger. And it's really sad.
Yeah.
So he's probably
disheveled.
Sad Ben Affleck or sad Affleck to another level.
Man, yeah.
No, I do hope the best for him. I hope he does well. And at first, like I was mad, like why would you leave? You're great as Batman, and he is great as Batman. But at this point in his
probably
life,
got a little bigger issues going on.
Yeah,
he doesn't need
do what's best
more
for you,
hate
man.
for Batflick.
Yeah, which he doesn't deserve.
No, I thought
think
that was
though,
so stupid.
If you have a lot of problems, wouldn't a good big budget project like that could consume your time and make you work out and be healthy and be this ripped man probably help him
I mean,
in the
it
long
could,
run?
but people have their own ways,
Yeah.
There's not. I mean,
maybe he just needs to be able to. I don't know. I can't remember I think it was like an In-N-Out burger or something. Maybe he just needs to be able to enjoy a couple fast food burgers in peace without people coming up shoving cameras in his face.
yeah. I mean, no actor really likes that.
No. I mean, I watch the whole thing, so
Yeah,
these
they're like,
these
"You're
people
doing
made
you,
these
man."
videos so that because people watch them, and I'm sitting there like, I'm so sorry, Ben, but
Yeah,
I
I
can't
can't
look away.
yeah.
It's a train wreck.
Oh.
So, I am a little happy for Henry.
I think he's gonna move on to bigger and better things.
I mean,
for
yeah,
sure.
he's signed on for the Netflix show The
Hey,
Witcher
we
already.
don't talk about that.
What?
We don't need to talk about that. He's doing nothing
Well,
after this.
no, I do hope he,
He
does
needs
something.
to come back as Superman to be in movies.
I
I'd
love
rather
it,
have him
but I
be
am happy
Geralt.
for him to do what he needs to do.
I'm so excited for him to be Geralt.
I mean, we talked about
I
this
would
with the
only
Chris's.
be excited if that was going to be in the movie theaters. It's
Oh
not.
God, those stupid streaming. They're
Yeah,
ruining
Eric.
this world.
God.
Your career is over, Henry. You brought
Yeah.
this on yourself.
Right.
I hope not. I think he will do just fine. And this is probably good for him as well as DC, just to be able to do their own thing.
I want to see him be more bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good as a bad
Yeah.
guy
It's terrifying,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it.
because he's so imposing.
Mm-hmm.
He's
he's-
like perfect bad guy for that.
Give him facial hair, and he's terrifying, and then shave him, like get him clean shaven, and he's just like looks like the sweetest guy.
Right.
I just imagine. I think Henry Cavill is like a huge, like World of Warcraft
He
player.
is. Yeah,
Every
he's
time I
actually-
just imagine like this giant Superman physique, just like playing,
There's
grinding
interviews.
away.
There's interviews of him where actually there's this one interview where he talks about how he almost missed the call that he got the gig because he was playing World of Warcraft.
That's a loyal guy.
I know.
The game's been out for like 11 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 10 years. I don't know. He's no casual. Anyways, moving
Yeah.
on.
So after that crazy thing happened, what else happened?
Well, there's another kind of controversy that probably most people don't really
Right.
know about or will know about.
Yeah,
But
probably not.
one of the producers, I think, was he like the main producer?
The main producer from the 1976 version of A Star Is Born is not going to get any producer credits on the new reiteration of it.
Yeah.
He was a producer?
He was
On this
producing
new one?
on
Okay.
on the 1976, and
Yeah,
he
I don't know how that works because I said he's
Right.
been a producer since 1976.
Yep.
What does that mean though? Is he like why
I
was he
think
still
as-
the producer when the movie already came out?
I think as producer, he probably held an interest in the rights to any films.
Future
Yeah.
remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he probably has a legal contractual interest in the film, and therefore he would be the first person that has to like greenlight any
True. Yeah, because
stuff.
I remember them saying to sum up kind of the controversy, he was accused. I forget who accused him.
Several women between 96 and 2008.
The main one, she ended up winning like over $3 million for his.
He has a sordid past of being accused of sexual harassment.
It was quote severe and perverse harassment or something, and I don't even know what that means, but that's not
In
good.
that business, that can mean anything.
Oh,
Like,
but no. Since his name had been on there as a producer though since 1976, legally they had to list him as a producer.
I don't know.
In order to get this new one made.
However, there is a lot of the Producers Guild of America, like all the guilds, the Directors Guild, the Writers Guild, they all have their own rules to how you get credit on a film. And they have to basically sign off on somebody's duties so that they get credit for it. And he is not getting credit as a producer on this.
He didn't do enough.
Right.
Apparently.
So while he legally probably has something worked out with Warner's about, being a part of maybe back-end profits
some
on
boring
a film.
bureaucratic thing.
Yeah, he is not, as far as Academy Awards or any awards go, he is not going to be credited as a producer.
He's not going to be going up there collecting the Best Picture Oscar when that movie likely wins it.
Right. And I think this is only coming up because it is getting such tremendous buzz that people...
Yeah, the movie, it's
Very
going
good
off like
buzz.
fireworks everywhere.
This might be one of those rare films that are not only a commercial success, but a critical
There's no doubt in my
success
mind
as
it's
well.
going to be that. And the soundtrack alone is probably going to be huge. That's going to be everywhere.
I do hope that this isn't getting us too overhyped for the movie, though, just because there is such big feedback, and I have had moments myself personally where I see a film after it got released in a bunch of film festivals, and then it's just like it's not.
I don't.
So I'm hoping it's not that. I hope that everything that people are saying is true.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it as in terms of all of this buzz means that the movie is,
Destined.
objectively this perfect gem.
Yeah.
I just think that it's anytime there's a movie that gets this amount of buzz around it, I just think that it's really interesting. So it just makes me even more curious,
even
to
more
check
hyped
it
for
out.
it. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I was moved by the trailer.
Yeah, I love the trailer.
Her
The first time I saw
haunting
it,
scening.
The
in
editing,
that.
grown on me
the
so
editing of the
much.
trailer,
Right.
the cinema. I mean,
That's why I kind of
it
give
was-
credence to all this hype. Is that the trailer moved me,
Yeah,
and
it
I
seems like they knew
I get
what they had from the
manipulated by
beginning.
trailers. So I'm like
Oh,
Kyle.
everybody
I don't want to
does.
like make it sound like oh my gosh, the trailer touched me when none others do.
go back and
'cause that's
watch
not the
trailers
case.
for movies that were not that good, but the trailers like almost brought me to tears, and I was just like, oh,
That's the movie
I
I
remember
wanted.
this. But no, I mean, I guess it sucks for that guy, but he probably shouldn't have done all that stuff. Because this
Yeah.
movie,
He definitely shouldn't have done
because this
that
movie
stuff.
is
Yeah,
very
that's a
likely
no-brainer.
gonna be one of
That's a no-go.
one of the front runners. Because
Right.
like we talk about every year, it seems like there's one or two, sometimes three movies that are kind of neck and neck.
Yeah.
Once it gets to the Oscar race, like last year, a lot of people didn't know what it would be, but then it ended up being
La La Land, right? Or was
No,
that the year
last year.
2
before?
years ago now.
La La Land was 2
Oh my
years ago.
Gosh.
That is
Oh no, Shape of Water and
Shape of Water. Yeah.
Call Me by Your Name.
No, it was
Oh.
It wasn't Lady Bird. Lady Bird actually kind of dropped.
3 Billboards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah,
right,
that
got
was the
more
race.
hype. I should have known
Before
that. I love that movie.
Moonlight, La La Land.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, who knows what other movies will come out at all of these prestigious festivals, but A Star Is Born is most likely going to be one of those.
The one that carries, I think,
front
that
runners.
came, that opens earlier in the whatever season,
Yeah.
and that carries the hype through to Oscar time for sure. What's this gonna do now that they got rid of the popular Oscar category with Black Panther? Because
That's what Kyle and I were talking about
actually-
last time. We thought... No, you go for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What I was just gonna say was that Disney actually officially put in all
Oh, yeah.
of the what am I trying to say?
For your consideration.
Yeah, all the for your consideration stuff for Black Panther, and they did put it into the Best Picture.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
put it in everything, I think, except
So they're
for
going.
Best Actress.
They're going all in.
except for Best Actress.
Yeah, I just
It
don't
didn't
think
really
have
have
they
one.
had Best Supporting Actress, Best
I mean, there
Supporting
was a lot
Actor,
of
Best
actresses
Actor.
that did well. So
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's,
they put it in.
you could have picked any one
But
of them.
Kyle and I were talking about it, and since the cynical people of the internet always saw right through the gimmick of that category. There's like, oh, that's the Black Panther award.
Yeah.
Now that that's
Ourselves
gone,
included.
we personally feel like Black Panther has a better shot at actually getting nominated for Best Picture, but
I think nomination, hands down, is going to happen.
I'm still not convinced it'll win, though.
I don't think it can win. And now with something more commercial and upscale like Star is Born, I think there's going to be just disappointed people that they're like, okay, we dodged that popular category bullet to make this be the first film that could be, and then something else came along and stole its thunder. And
yeah,
I don't want them to be disappointed, because I'm sure that A Star is Born, if it gets there and it is as good as everybody says, it will carry momentum to the end. That was probably very well deserving.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of interesting that Disney really put in the stars and everybody associated with Black Panther really pushed to not be part of that category, to have a Give Me award, and then
they want to win that fair.
Well, I mean, we are also, going back, every time there's these one or two token mainstream tentpole movies that do end up getting the nomination,
you think
they never win.
No.
Ever.
No.
The last time that ever happened was like Lord of the Rings 3. And that was like a proxy for...
Because there had been
trilogy.
so much. Yeah.
But Black Panther, I'm very confident will get the nomination, but it's not going to win.
No, I don't. I mean, we still have a lot more movies to see. But if I had to take a guess, it probably won't win. But like Eric said, and what we talked about, we do think that it has an even higher shot of getting that nomination.
Yeah. I just hope whoever wins is a commercial film that we can then play off.
It's
like my big fear is that it's going to be some obscure thing like Moonlight, where it's like,
it does
okay,
seem like
this is wasted.
At TIFF especially, that there was a lot of more wider audience films that are getting a lot of love. Like Widows was one. The Hate You Give is another one. Star is Born, as we just said. Yeah. I think First Man is also going to be a wide release, and that one's been getting praise, of course. So
its own little bit of controversy, but
yeah,
I think
the controversy is so convoluted and sad.
Oh, it's
yeah, I thought it was stupid.
It's whatever. It'll be fine. I actually think this will be a good year to where maybe the Oscars will take a look at everything that got released and got nominated, and maybe get nominated. They'll just be like, oh wait, there's something right. We don't need to do this popular category when these films just can't
My
be
gut
the best.
right now is telling me, because based on what I'm seeing and other people's thoughts, it's looking like the best picture race is going to come down to A Star is Born up against either Roma, which I think is interesting. That's Alfonso Cuarón's.
Yeah,
did that
Cuarón's
get enough
first movie.
theatrical releases?
It hasn't been released yet, but it's gonna have one, even though it is a Netflix movie.
Right.
But
I think there might be some real issues with that.
Well, that's interesting, because this year, especially at these festivals, a lot of Netflix movies have been doing really, really well.
Yeah, but they won't get into the Academy because they didn't have proper theatrical runs.
I know, but I think some of them are
That's
going
how
to.
Mudbound got screwed.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
But I'm pretty sure, Roma's getting a limited theatrical run, probably
before its streaming release.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks before, but that's going to be, if it gets that and then gets awards, it's just going to push that conversation between what the streaming giants get to do and what actual like studios that put their movies in theaters.
True.
And who should receive credit. I mean, I really don't like the idea that Netflix would win anything.
No,
I don't hate Netflix. I love Netflix, but I don't think they should win.
It's a very contentious
awards
topic,
in movie, in the movie industry when they don't make their movies for theaters.
That's true.
There's
but
just like a little obligatory. Put in a couple theaters.
Yeah.
So that we pass that.
But where I see
criteria.
it as is that, in all, like it doesn't. I just feel like it doesn't really matter whether it's in a theater or not. Like as long as it's a movie and it's a great movie that has impact and like people love and appreciate, then I think like that's why it should deserve nominations, not just because it's in a theater. So I mean, I get where you're coming from, but also
be industry awards. I'm not saying it shouldn't earn awards anywhere, but maybe it shouldn't earn top industry awards.
No, I understand.
But how is that fair then?
I love and hate this conversation because I never really know where exactly I come down on it.
Yeah,
because
I'm also playing different views. I have like both of these
advocate.
viewpoints, so
because
I'm just curious.
My pure like emotional decision would be if it's a streaming thing with an obligatory theatrical run. I just don't think, make your own streaming awards or something.
Right.
I don't think that a movie that people saw when they're sprawled out on their couch on their TV should count as a movie that you see surrounded by a bunch of audience members and you share these emotions.
But I mean, that same thing could still happen at a theater. Like, you can still be sprawled out, not paying attention to a movie in a theater. Like, just because it's Netflix and a streaming service doesn't necessarily mean that that's the kind of reaction that you're just gonna get only from that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just romantic about it, but I don't think that they're the same.
That's fair. Like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate to both sides. Like, I see why people think of it from that standpoint, but I also see it from just being the standpoint of movies are movies. Like, whether they come from
at the end of the day,
theaters,
yes, you're awarding the best movie. You're not awarding the best movie watching experience.
Yeah.
Again, so which is why I'm so confused on the whole topic, and I just don't see it dying down soon.
No, it's not going to.
It's going to get even more complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially with all of these acclaimed streaming movies coming out. But yeah, I don't know. Star is Born probably going to be a front runner.
I think it kind of goes back to my argument that I even have with this idea that we award films that like no one really sees. But
they still are put in theaters.
Right, but they're still put in theaters. I think the whole Academy shouldn't even award films that aren't super commercial successes, because I think the point should be to put people in the shared experience in the theater. So I think that I like to see Black Panther win or Stars Born win,
just because of what it could do business wise.
So what it does for the business, yeah. But I
think that's just the fundamental divide.
And then you add streaming to it. I really can't tell. Like, that does nothing to help the theatrical side of our industry at all. And I mean, there's just no way you can tell how many people really saw it. Like, it might be just really good technically, but I feel like if there wasn't that shared experience and a lot, that people really saw or you can gauge. I don't know. I don't feel like that should be awarded.
I don't know. I just, going all the way back, I'm pretty sure the Oscars have always just been about awarding the art of cinema, and
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, exactly.
You may feel about how you may want it. You may wish that in a perfect world, the whatever movie won helped it out financially, so it could actually be a lucrative thing. But if their goal is simply to award the art of cinema, then all of that has to be set aside.
The business aspect has to be set aside, is what you mean. Yeah.
Because otherwise, again, to use the most age-old cliche nowadays, but Transformers movies would be winning, or back when they were really successful.
Yeah.
They would have been winning because everybody saw them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're unanimously hated.
Yeah.
So,
like, would you be rewarding them just because of business-wise it did so well, or should you reward it because as artwork, as something of impact, should you award it based on those parameters?
Yeah. Because
who knows?
I mean, I can almost tell you for sure that I can't remember the last time that me or a majority of my friends or family or just people's favorite movie of the year also was like technically the most successful movie. Sometimes it happens.
I can't and see on the other side, I can't tell you that me or majority of my people even saw what won.
Well, I know.
Best Picture. I mean, I saw Shape of Water. I'm not gonna. But
a lot of it does come down to that. These are for people who are really a lot more into movies than a lot of other people. So it takes a lot more personal effort to seek it out.
Yeah.
And track it down and actually be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a scavenger hunt sometimes.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally get that most people aren't doing that.
No.
They're gonna look at their marquee and be like, what's out?
Do I know this? Instant name recognition.
Because, it's so weird because for so long now, these movies, people are like, wait, I've never even heard of that. Who even saw that movie? I'm like, everybody I know saw this movie. I love this movie. People love this movie.
You should go see this movie.
Yeah.
Just start yelling at them.
I don't know. It's just that difference. I don't know why it's so hard to like cross.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, do we say all that just because we were talking about Star is Born?
Talking about the producer
Yeah.
originally.
Right, yeah. And then we went on a whole...
Well, we were kind of delving into what we think might happen with the Academy Awards this year.
Yeah.
And implications of that.
Yeah. I can't wait. I already can't wait for those nominations.
Yeah. I mean, part of me
Even though
wonders,
I haven't seen any of them. But
part of me wonders if they're going to like combine the social cultural impact of Black Panther with what they were originally trying to do with the best popular film, where they're like, okay, yeah, we award lots of artsy good movies that not a lot of people see. Maybe we should get better about recognizing movies that people actually do see.
that's why I think...
So I'm wondering,
Sorry.
you know, maybe Black Panther does win. And now I'm going back the other way. It seems like it kind of hits the nerve of both of those core issues.
I think this year will change a little bit. I think just based on all the movies that have been premiering, it seems like there are a lot more wide release ones. So I think like we could see where a couple of them actually do get nominated and get more attention because of it.
It would be really nice to see an Oscar showdown where more than 2 out of 10 people can actually tell you anything about any of the movies that are nominated.
Yeah.
Because every year people are like, I don't even know what any of these movies are.
Yeah.
Like all of the nominees, I'm like, oh.
We shouldn't.
It's like, of course you didn't.
We shouldn't also pander, I guess, to the general audience
No,
either.
of course
'cause
not.
Even like amongst the Marvel films, which you think like, oh, everybody knows about, there are people that are like, what's this character now?
Yeah.
So I get all that.
I'm just thinking out loud. There's so many different directions it could go now.
My loyalty lies with the theater. So whatever benefits the theater,
Yeah. And
I'm
I
all
mean,
for supporting.
And I mean, there are some people that are just like you thinking of it that way. There are people who think about it only for the sake of art. I'm a little bit more in the middle because I've been on both of those sides. So at the end of the day, no one knows, and we're never going to figure it out.
Oh, no, I know. And I figured it out.
Oh,
I just need to
You got to
make people see
you got
it
to
my
make
way.
a call to Mr. Academy Awards, Mr.
I
Oscar.
do. I'll just make a few phone calls, guys. Don't worry. It'll be fine in the future.
But yes, it would be super awesome if A Star is Born gives us the best of both.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
And,
It'd be
fingers
so
crossed
exciting.
that that's what it's going to do. I don't like to read the full reviews because you never know which ones have spoilers or not. Even
not-
though I've seen the original ones. But
Yeah.
I'm not reading any reviews.
the little snippets a bunch of people are talking about, it's like it's that rare Hollywood movie that transcends the whatever, and
I just like
all those
Lady
big 50
Gaga
cent
so
words.
much. So I'm seeing it because I love her and she is so talented.
I just want to see how Bradley Cooper directs. That's my biggest thing.
It just based on the trailer alone, it doesn't look like a first-time director is doing this. It looks like he's
Well,
done this for a while.
Well, I mean, that's what a lot of people, notice. They're like, "Whoa, how is he so good?" But you think about it, and he was in 2 or 3 David O. Russell movies that were all nominated for like Best Picture, Best Actor.
He worked with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I'm sure on these movies, if he's a
learned.
creative person like that, he's probably gonna be standing right there, just watching them.
He was in The
watching how they
Elephant
work.
Man on Broadway.
Yeah,
Oh.
has Broadway experience. Yeah. I mean, same with Jonah Hill. His movie mid-90s has been getting great buzz, and
Yeah.
it makes sense
They
with
learn
his credentials.
You
He's
learn
worked
from
with
the masters.
Yeah, he's
So
worked with great directors.
I'm really not that surprised that he's getting all this acclaim for his first time directing because
he's got
he has some of the best teachers out there.
his he's benefiting because his movie is being distributed by Warner's, who has excellent marketing
Oh, Bradley
budgets.
Cooper is right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
So I think you're hearing more about it and getting more positive reviews.
Because of that.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not. It's one of the bigger studios. It's not like it's.
It's a very famous story too. I mean, probably amongst older people now, but
Yeah.
it's one of those classic stories.
Like the
That's why it's
underdog
timeless
story.
love stories.
Everybody loves the underdog. And,
Rags
Yeah.
to rich. Well, it's
yeah.
it's not that simple, but yeah,
Well, but the trailer makes it look that simple,
it's probably gonna be
which
depressing,
is great.
but in a good way.
No spoilers here.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 other versions
So-
of it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be disappointed when you find out John chose the villain, Kyle,
You could or you couldn't. Just depends on what happens.
or the daughter was faking it the whole time.
Well, I mean, you never know with kids.
There was no daughter. There was no John Cho.
I mean, if
Yeah.
that's what you want to think.
You never went to the movie, Kyle.
Now that's true.
I'm beginning to think you didn't because you didn't actually say anything that
Oh,
was
you know.
specific to
You're
this
not even-
movie.
Oh, I don't need to say much.
You're not even here right now.
Yeah, we're not even talking to you.
You're pre-recorded
Yeah.
from previous podcasts.
But no, I'm super excited to see Searching.
Spoilers.
I am so glad you'll see
or
it.
it didn't happen.
Tomorrow, maybe
Didn't
we'll tell you what
happen.
happens.
Okay.
Unless
No,
you
you won't.
look it up and
Hopefully
read it
Eric
before
will
then.
tell me. I looked up what happened in Simple Favor because it was a
Oh,
book.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, that
I don't
that's
know if the
fine. That
movie
is the
follows
book.
the book at all, but I know how it ends in the book. So
Mhm.
Kyle and I will just make up an ending for Searching, and we'll give it to you totally straight-faced, and you'll believe it.
I'll
Or
double
not.
check it.
I mean, that's true.
I'll
yeah,
edit the
Yeah.
Wikipedia page.
You'll do everything in your power.
That's where you're mistaken. I never look at Wikipedia.
I look at Wikipedia for everything. It's so much better than IMDb.
Even if it's wrong.
You think I would go to
People
IMDb?
say that. I have
No.
never come across that.
I mean, the people do it.
I mean, I've
Are-
done it
are
before.
able to
You know, I've
edit
done it
it.
as a joke. I've edited
Yeah.
some like random page, but
It was probably your page. You have your own
they're like
page?
instantly reverted because the page can tell. They're like, yeah, that's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. You know, I don't know.
Why'd you look at me? I don't edit
I just look at you
Wikipedia.
guys and I'm like, no, you cannot go to Wikipedia for anything.
Well,
Didn't
we-
they teach you that
we-
in college?
We also
Do
can't
not
spoil
cite
movies for you.
Wikipedia.
They kind of said that in like middle school and high school, and then people are like, okay, yeah, well, everybody does it, and if it's blatantly wrong, it gets flagged immediately, and then it gets changed. Wikipedia is so much better organized than IMDb for all those little
I
information.
would never go to IMDb.
No.
Yeah, me either.
It's like Wikipedia, but there's no
Right.
way to check
When I
it.
first got into movies,
Right.
I would go there to look at the top 250, being like, okay, what are good movies?
Yeah.
But other than
Now
that,
you know.
I don't like it.
Now there's better ways.
Plus,
Like
the users
Silver
Screen
are
Insider.
garbage.
At www.silverscreeninsider.com. Do people still say the www?
No, they're getting rid of that now.
Thank goodness.
Really?
I mean, you
They're
don't really
starting
need to
to.
type it in.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we had to type W.
All-
Back in my day,
all
we
three
didn't use
Ws.
Wikipedia. I would have rather gone to an
Wikipedia-
actual encyclopedia than Wikipedia.
has evolved. I'm telling you, you're just making life harder on yourself.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is the dumbing down of America here.
No,
I get all my information from Wikipedia.
streamlining and making things easier is not dumbing down. Well, it's not. Usually, it's not. It can be.
It is in
No.
Wikipedia's case.
No,
Oh my gosh.
there's nothing wrong with all that information organized nice and perfectly in that rectangle that's right there. I don't have to scroll down and click a bunch of
Rectangle.
drop-down
the
menus
pages. Okay.
to see who's in it or how long it is, what it's rated, how much it's made. It's right there. I don't even have to scroll.
He's right. He's not wrong about that. Like that
Yeah.
that is better. Scrolling
Okay,
is
maybe-
But people
worst.
just don't realize this. They're like, go to IMDb. It has the word movie in its name.
And you're
No,
just like,
maybe
no.
Wikipedia could be good for movies, but
It is.
if I were to research anything, plot details, anything like that, I'm not going to use Wikipedia.
Why?
Because
It's no better than, where do you read your plot synopses?
I'm not going to tell you. Not
Oh, there's-
Wikipedia.
There's those
IMDb is
websites
no
where they're
better.
like,
Right.
click here if you want to know the ending to searching.
I mean, I guess sometimes you
guess.
can just Google like the synopsis and
Yeah.
at the top of the Google page it tells
And
you.
just
But that's not
see.
like a, I guess that's the synopsis, but not the summary.
Okay, I use some wikis.
Mm,
Maybe not
okay,
Wikipedia.
Okay. Well, they're literally the exact same thing. So, on that note,
Yeah.
I think that covers everything.
I mean, I've wrapped up all of my.
If you've taken
thoughts on
anything away from
Wikipedia.
this, go see
Great.
Searching and use Wikipedia for everything.
No. Don't do it, people.
you
All
can
right.
do it.
We'll see you in a couple days.
See you later.